Hi, I'm Andy. Welcome to One Man and His Meeple. Today I'm going to be playing Merv, the Heart of the Silk Road, designed by Fabio Lopiano and published by Osprey Games. The game is set in the 12th century city of Merv, a halfway point between east and west on the Silk Road. As well as being a major trade hub, the city was filled with libraries, mosques and palaces. At the time it was the greatest city in the world. In Merv, the players choose amongst 6 different actions, allowing them to deal in spices and other goods, collect ancient scrolls, garner favour at the palace, and make donations to the Grand Mosque in order to amass power and wealth in the heart of the Silk Road. Players can also help to construct walls around the city to protect their properties from the ravages of the Mongol hordes. There are several ways to amass a fortune, but it's hard to achieve success by spreading yourself too thin. It's much better to concentrate on 1 or 2 ways to gain victory points. In the solo game, we play against the corrupt Magistrate and a neutral opponent called the High Courtier. The corrupt Magistrate will take actions based on a small deck of cards and will compete against you for resources and ultimately victory points. The High Courtier is controlled jointly by you and the Magistrate, occupying valuable building spaces, and he may help or hinder you. In this game, I'm playing blue and start in second place. The corrupt Magistrate is red and is first player. The High Courtier will be yellow and goes last. Okay, so we have a little bit more setup to do before the start of the game. First thing we have to do is to create this, which is the corrupt Magistrate's deck. Now, this is something I missed out at the start of when I first started playing, because it's not with the solo rules, it's in the rest of the instructions at the start of the rules, in the main setup rules. So the first thing we have to do is take the Palace card, which is this one. And then we shuffle the rest, put that face down. And then we deal 2 off onto that. Shuffle those 3. Then put 1 on the top and 2 on the bottom. And then don't shuffle them again. So what we've basically done, we know that the Palace card is one of those 4, along with 3 other random cards. And then the corrupt Magistrate will usually just use 4 actions around each turn, and then at the end of the round those 4 cards will be shuffled and put back on top of the deck, so you know which 4 actions the corrupt Magistrate is likely to take in the second and third rounds. The next thing we have to do, this is the Caravansary deck with the spices on. Gonna shuffle and deal out 8 of those here. And a deck at the end, and 4 camels, 1 on each of those. And then the city tiles. This is the camel market and it goes in the center, and it's different on each side. I'm just going to flip that and put it in the middle, and we're going to go with that side. And then these I'm just going to give a shuffle and just deal out into these spaces. These are the 3-player pawns. The corrupt Magistrate is red and goes in first place. I am blue, going to second place, and the High Courtier is yellow and goes into third place. And then we are ready to start. Okay, so the corrupt Magistrate goes first because they're in the front here. So we take the first card of their deck, and it is the Mosque Card. So they're going to build a building in a mosque space somewhere in this grid, and the rules are that it will build in the one where it already has the most houses, and then where we have the most properties, buildings, and then in the one furthest from the queue, this being the queue, the current queue. So it will go into this one. If there are more than one in a column, there's a rule to decide which one, and it's basically the one furthest from the end that we're playing in. So they're going to build in building there. So On the card, it shows you what to do. They go up the leftmost column with the camel, and they go one space because they've got one property. So we get a red disc, and we go one space up the leftmost column in the mosque. So the leftmost column here, they get the camel, which I'm going to try and remember. We'll put over there on their deck. And the camel is the only bonus. Nearly every row in the mosque track has some sort of bonus involved. And in the first space, it's the camel. So they should have gone through there. They were advanced to there. Now I'll go second. Now the conventional wisdom is that you do not want to go in third place as we go around this board. You always need to be in second or first place to go in the next round. So with that in mind, I have to debate. I have to work out where I'm going to go. And let's have a look at some of the layouts here. So we've got 2 scrolls here and 2 scrolls there. Scrolls is quite a nice way to get a lot of points. Scrolls here. It's quite a nice way to get a lot of points because you can pick them up quite easily, and then get multipliers here for the number of scrolls that you have. What else do we have lined up? There's a couple of caravansary tiles in a row there, or in a column rather. Might be a good one to aim for. Caravansary are these cards along here, some of which come with bonus camels. Now they're quite good scoring. If you get a set of 4 or 4 different ones, you get 10 points, and if you get pairs of the same, you get a little one-off bonus. But for that, we do have to progress along this track first, which we get by building walls. So in order to score well with the spice, with the caravansary cards, we also need to be building walls. So, so although we've got 2 caravansary tiles here, there's no wall tiles in that column. These are just things that are going through my head as I'm looking at the grid here. The other thing is the market. A couple of market tiles there, and walls, and so we've got walls and a caravansary tile there, and a couple of market spaces. I'm just looking at which sort of where I'm going to build, because obviously if I can build all in a column or a row eventually, then I'll get more goods. I'll get more of these goods cubes. So the other thing at this stage, now that the corrupt magistrate already has a camel, if I go into this space here, and then the yellow, the courtier will go in any one of those 3 and won't get a camel. When we come to move into the next row, the last person goes into the 3rd space unless they can spend camels to move themselves forward, and then red is going to put himself into 1st and we'll be in 2nd, so that's okay. So at the moment we can pretty much go into any of these spaces. The problem would arise if we go behind the yellow meeple and we don't get a camel, because then we're going to be forced to go into 3rd, and then the yellow, and then the corrupt magistrate will go into 1st place, and we'll be stuck in last place. So I'm kind of tempted. I'm looking at this column because we've got a couple of scrolls, although the colors are all the same, and to pick up scrolls you need to get cubes of different colors. So that's kind of tricky. Ideally, if we were going to go for scrolls, there'd be a couple of scrolls tiles in a row or column with with all 4 different colours, and there isn't here. So I'm thinking maybe caravansary and some walls, which would mean this one, although we don't need a lot of walls. It would be preferable to have like a couple of caravansary tiles and 1 wall. And also, of course, we can't play into this column. We have to pick a different column. This first row has a couple of markets. It has a palace action. And this column is quite nice because it has 1 of each different colour. And it has a scroll. So I'm going to go for that middle column. Now ideally I'd like to be able to get a camel somehow, and easy ways to get camels at the start of the game: you can go up on the mosque track, you can trade in the market here, or you can pick up one of these caravansary cards with a camel on it. I think I'm going to go straight in for the trading. I'm going to build my building there, which means I get 1 purple cube. And then I'm immediately going to, well, first of all, I'm going to put my market space out. I'm going to put it there, obviously, because there's I need purple cubes to pick up the blue goods there, and I get a camel for building there. So this will be my space. My space of stuff, my stash of stuff over here, and then I'm going to spend the purple cube I just got to get 1 blue good. So the yellow meeple, where does the courtier, high courtier, where does he go? Well, as the corrupt magistrate was the first player, he gets to choose which column it goes in, and then I get to choose which row he builds in because I was second player. And he will aim for places where I have the most buildings. Well, obviously that's doesn't apply at this point. And then he will go for places where the magistrate has the fewest buildings, which also doesn't apply. And then he'll just go furthest back. And then I choose where he's going to put his building. Now I want it out of my way. And I don't really want it in the same row as the corrupt magistrate because he can use both of them. Unlike in the multiplayer game, the corrupt magistrate can use 2 different colours. So I think I might put it... I don't really want to block off the mosque track, although... No, because he'll just use it anyway. And it will stop him being able to use that mosque card, and then he'll get a 5th card into his shuffle, so I don't want to do that. Although there are 3 mosques in here. I'm going to put him in the palace down there. No, I'm going to put him in the palace there. Okay, so I went up there, the corrupt magistrate went there, and I've put the high courtier there. Right, so what's next? Well, we all decide our turn order for the next round. Yellow, the courtier, has no camels, so he must go into second place. Now I have a camel, so I could spend to go into first place. I could put my camel in that second place slot and take the first place slot, and then the corrupt magistrate will come along and take the second place slot along with the camel. But at this stage of the game, I think I'm content to save my camel and go into second, because I don't think it's likely at this stage that the magistrate's going to build in this row, because obviously I'd like to go there and build in this row, and also that means being in last place along here, I'm going to need that camel to get a decent position. So magistrate goes into first place, so let's see what his card's instructing him to do this time. It's the market. So he will automatically go there because he already has a building in that row. When he gets the market space, he opens in order of preference, starting at Ray, going clockwise. He will build an outer post, an outpost if he's already got an inner marketplace. But because I've already picked Ray, it means he's going to go to Samarkand and take that camel. So he now has a couple of camels. And he gets 1 blue good per trading post within the inner circle and 1 brown good for each trading post he has there, without spending any goods or resources. I'm putting these next to the deck or it's going to get confusing or just awkward. Okay, then it's my go. I would like to build in this row, and if we take the market, we're going to get a blue and a purple. And to spend the blue and the purple cubes can be spent here for brown goods. These are more valuable goods. But I'm going to build here. So we'll get our blue and our purple cubes. And I think I'm actually going to build in bulk there and get another camel at this stage. And then I'm going to spend my blue and purple cubes to get 2 more blue goods. And then the high courtiers go. The red was first, so they will pick. They will go in a row where I have the most buildings, so he'll attempt to block me. He can't. And then he will go where red has the fewest buildings, which is also irrelevant. So he will go towards the back of the queue, which is there, which just happens to be in first place. And then I get to choose which column he's going to build in. Now, I was going to build in this column, so I don't really want him to go there. So I think I'm just going to put there. Although I am blocking another palace space. Now this is important because, as I said, we're only going to, the corrupt magistrate is going to do 4 cards. Look at 4 cards going around these 4 places, taking 4 different actions. If in later turns he can't get a space, he can't build in a space, he will take a second card. And that means that he will go through 5 cards in a turn around the city, which puts more uncertainty into the cards into the magistrate's moves, which I'd like to keep to a minimum. And blocking off 2 of these palace space, and we know the palace is in there because the palace is the only card that you build the deck around the palace, so you know it's definitely in there. To that end, I think I'm going to put it there. Okay, so we have 2 camels. We could propel ourselves into first place by putting a camel here and here. That's actually going to use both of them. I'm going to go for second starting position and put a camel there. And then the corrupt magistrate comes along, and he's also going to leave a camel in third place so he can go into first. And then the magistrate's going to come along, take both those camels, I hope I don't forget to spend those and go into third place. Right, so once again, the corrupt magistrate is picking a card to play, and it is scrolls. So where's he going to put his scrolls? He would go for a space in a row, in a column where he already has a building. Well, this column doesn't have scrolls. This column does have scrolls, but the courtier's built in it. So it's this one or this one. And he will go furthest from the queue. Actually, will he go there to try and block me? Just need to check that. Yes, so he will go here because he will pick the column where I have the most buildings that fills his criteria. So he will go there for scrolls, and he gets one scroll because he only has one building in this column. So he takes a scroll. He does not yet qualify for one of these tiles, and he cannot yet get goods. He cannot yet pick up any of these bonus cards, is what I mean. Now, talking of these bonus cards, we can't pick any up yet because we only have 3 blue goods, but as soon as we get some brown goods, we'll be able to. But we will need, in order to pick up these, either scrolls or these ones down the end, we're going to need 3 of these influence points, which means we're going to need to be there on that track, and we get these by building walls. So maybe I should look to build some walls. If I go here, I can build 2 walls. If I go here and pick the wall space, I can build 2 walls, and with 2 walls I get 4 2, 4, 6, 7 influence, which would take me to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So nearly there. Because I want to try and build in one of these columns now I've started to work in there, unless I went into built into this row. We could get into the palace, but unfortunately we need turn cubes to get victory points for goods. Let's have a look how the palace works. So in order to get victory points for goods, we need to put people into this section, which means we need to spend tan cubes, which we can't get any of yet. So I'm thinking I'm going to go there and build in that space, which will get me a tan cube and a blue cube. And that will allow me to build 2 walls if I spend both of these cubes. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take, because I've spent a tan cube and a blue cube, I take from the wall sections tan and blue. Then I'm going to build there, which, although I'm protecting the magistrate's buildings, they don't get destroyed anyway, and that does get me 4 influence. 1, 2, 3, 4, which means I can take these bonus cards now because I've passed this space, and it also means I can pick up 2 different spice cards from the caravanserai. If I put my second one there, I start half protect my property there and get another 2 influence for that. I only get 1 influence for protecting my own building, so that's 1, 2, 3. So where does the courtier go? Well, the magistrate was first to choose, was first to play, so he chooses and he tries to block off my buildings, but I'm safe, if you like. And then where he has the fewest, so we won't go there. And then he'll go there or there, and he'll go closest to the back. So it's this column. I get to choose which row he's going into. tricky now. I think I'm going to play. I think I'm going to play there, and I'll show you why in a minute. Although I don't think I've got enough camels to make it work. Okay, so I'm going to spend 1 camel to go into second place. The red, the corrupt magistrate is going to spend 1 camel to go into first place then. And the high courtier comes into third place and takes 2 more camels. So let's see what the magistrate's doing this round. He's going to the palace. Of course he is. It hasn't come up yet, and we knew it was going to. So he's going to pick a palace tile. And he's going to go where he has the most buildings already, which looks like this row here. This is the only other row with buildings. And there's no palace tiles in there. So he's going there, and he's got, that means he's got 2. Now you can see on this card, it says 1 to 3, he plays 1 Meeple into the palace. And he plays wherever he's going to score most. So he has 1 scroll, 1 blue, 1 blue good. So he'd play here for scrolls and here for blue goods. Oh, he's also got 1 space in the mosque. So the only one that he wouldn't pick is this one, the spices for the caravanserai, and I think he goes furthest left. So he gets 1 of these points. He gets 1 of these points, which is a favour point. And you spend these favour points in order to score these at the end of the round. So, what was I going to do? I'm going to go here, and I'm allowed to use the High Courtier's buildings. And this gets me 2 tan and 1 orange cube. But it means I don't get to build this round. Then I'm going to spend 1 tan cube. With this, I'm going to use the palace action. One of these, doesn't matter which. And I'm going to place my my worker into there, which automatically gets me 1 favour. To place a second one in here, I'd need to pay 2 tan coins. And I don't have 2 tan goods. I don't have 2 tan, I just have 1 tan and 1 orange. Now I could, no, I can't even go in there because I'd need 2 orange cubes to go in there. So that's it. If I had a camel, I could play into the camel market and take 1 of these bonuses, but I don't even have that. So that's the end of that round, that turn, although I do have some cubes, which is good for future goes. The courtier, I suspect the magistrate is going to send him there into my column, into my row with the most buildings. Then I get to pick where he's going to build in there, and I'm going to let him build there because I don't want to build a mosque. I don't want to go to the mosque in this game. The mosque looks really tempting. There's lots of bonuses in there, and there's 3, 6, 10 victory points to pick up at the end when you get there, along with multipliers. But I haven't been able to make it work, so in terms of victory points at the end of the game. So that's the end of that round. Now the Magistrate, luckily for us, has no camels, so he goes into third place. We have no camels, so we go into second place, and the High Courtier, who has all the camels, goes into first place but doesn't need to spend any. So we have a scoring round now. The first thing we do is score for our buildings in the city. So I have 3 and the magistrate has 4. And then we'd score any of these multiplier tiles that are in the mosque, but neither of us have progressed far enough to pick up those. And then we score the palace. So first of all, I'll do mine first. I have to spend 1 favour for each of my workers in the palace. So just 1 puts me back down to 0, and then I'm allowed to score my worker here. So I get 1 victory point per good for each of my meeples in here. So that's 1 victory point for each of my goods. I've got 3 goods, so I got 6. The magistrate doesn't have to spend his favour, and he gets 1 victory point per scroll. He has 1 scroll, so he goes up 1 point. You can see I'm on 6 there, and I had 3 blue goods that you couldn't see because I was zoomed in. Okay. Now the next 4 turns are exactly the same as that, and then the 4 after that. The only difference is before the next scoring round, the Mongol hordes will attack and they will destroy our buildings if they're not protected by walls or soldiers. No one's built a soldier yet, but that's this icon here in the corner, and that means build a soldier. And that's basically just putting one of your little soldiers on a tile there, and that protects it from the Mongol hordes. Okay, so into the second round. Now this time the High Courtier's first. I am second, so I get to choose which column he's going to go into, and I think I'm going to put him straight into that column there. The magistrate gets to pick which row he goes into, and he will pick the one where perpendicular row where I have the most buildings already, so he's going to build there. Then I get to pick. I could go into this column, build some more walls, which will hopefully get me over this 3 influence space, and then I can start to take some of these contracts as I pick up goods. Or I can go to caravansary, which will get me some camels, which might be good as well. Camels are good because, as we've seen, they let you select your starting space. I'm a bit worried of going into this column in case I get shoved into 3rd place. It will only take the magistrate to pick up 1 camel, and I will go into 3rd place. Talking of that, we've got to shuffle these 4 cards and put them back on top of the deck. So before I shuffle them, we can look at where he might end up going. If I went into this column here, that gives him these 3 columns to pick from. If he gets a palace action, he's going to go there. If he gets the scroll action, he's going to go there, I suspect. Neither palace nor scrolls will get him a camel. The marketplace, if he gets that, he will go into Kashgar there, so that won't get him a camel. And the mosque space won't get him a camel either. So I think I'm safe going into this column, because I don't think he'll be able to pick up a camel this turn. So having said that, let's go to that space and build some more walls. So we've got 2 blue and a tan cube to go with our existing cubes. Now we can spend any of these coloured cubes according to the cost here to build these walls. These the ones with the roofs and the arches are for building along these central columns and rows. So how many we need? We actually only need 3. So let's spend, bear in mind what we want to do. We want to go to the market and pick up some goods, and we want to be able to either go to Baghdad or Peshawar. So we want orange and tan, or we want orange and purple. So we're good to spend the blue cubes. So let's spend 1 blue cube on a wall, and we can get an easy 4 points if we place it here. 2 for the magistrate and 2 for the courtier's house that we're building, that we're protecting. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. That secures our objective of getting 3 influence up here. Well, if we get some more now, we are due some victory points for that. So we could build just 1 more to protect our buildings. I think I'm going to keep the cubes though, because we can get a blue cube from Balk as well. Okay. We didn't get a camel though. We didn't need a camel, that was right. Okay, so what's the magistrate doing? He's going to the market. So where's he going to build his building? You can only go into these middle 3 columns, and the only one space that has a market is there. So he's going there. So he builds that, and then he will build into, that should be there, he builds into Kashgar. So he gets 1 favor, and he gets 1 blue and 1 brown good. Now, having got those goods, he now has enough to fulfill one of these contract cards, and he will fulfill the most valuable one he can with the scrolls and goods that he has, and that's these ones. And out of those 2 that are worth 12 victory points each, he will pick this one that allows him. He will pick this one that allows him to place a soldier. So he takes that. And he puts his goods on them. He still scores them. He still owns those goods. They're just assigned to that card. You notice he didn't need to have the requisite influence to do that. So he gets 12 victory points for that, taking him up to 17. And he gets to place a soldier. He will place soldiers such as to protect the courtiers' buildings first, and he will start in the top left and work down and to the right. So he puts a soldier in there, and for that he gets 2 of those. Okay, so turn order for the next round. Courtier goes into first place and puts a camel into space 2 and 3. The corrupt magistrate has no camel, so must go into space 3 and gets a camel. And we go into space 2 and get a camel. So I once again get to decide where the courtier's going. Now if I put him into this row here, if I put him into that row there, then he can't build. Which means he can't block me off anymore. And it's a space that the corrupt magistrate can't use to his advantage. So I'm going to put him in that middle row. so he doesn't get to build. I'm going to go oh look, if I don't put him there, I can go in that middle row and use the courtier's buildings again for 2 tans and orange and get more of these. But I'd also quite like to go to market and get some goods so I can pick up that other 12-point card. So I don't get left behind there. There are no market spaces left empty, are there? Nope. There's 1, 2, there's the third one, 4. So I'm going to go there and pick my 2 market spaces, which I get a blue and a purple cube. I get to place a disc into one of these places. Now I've got, if I build into Baghdad, I'll be able to get 1 brown good. If I build into Peshawar, I'll be able to get 1 brown good. 1 brown good and 2 blue goods. If I build into Baghdad, I'll be able to get 1 brown good and 3 blue goods, leaving me a tan cube. So let's, does that make sense? Yes, let's build into Baghdad then. So I get 1 favor and I get to spend an orange and a tan on 1 brown good. And I will spend 2, oh, I think I can only get 1 from each, a blue and a purple for 2 blue goods. Just gonna check that. Yep, I was absolutely right. I can only buy 1 good from each place I have. So I got 1 rare good and 2 common goods. The rare goods being brown, the common goods being blue. Now I can fulfill this contract. I need to spend a cube to do so. So I'm going to spend the blue cube I have left over, and I'm going to take that one. Assign my goods to those. And get 12 points, putting me on 18. And I get a favor for that, which gets me another victory point. And actually, the Magistrate should have got a victory point as well. Okay, so now it's the Magistrate's turn, and he is going to a scroll space. Now, where's his scroll spaces? There's 1 there. There's 1 there. Scroll space there and a scroll space there. He's going to pick this one because he has the most buildings already in that row. So he puts a building into there and then takes 3 scrolls because he's got 3 buildings. If there was a courtier's building here, he would then pick up 4 or 5 as well. So 3 scrolls. That gives him 4 scrolls. So he gets to pick from these bonus tiles down here. He gets the 2 times and a 4 times. For the 2 times, he will pick either the mosque or the caravanserai, depending which he is furthest ahead on. Now he's furthest ahead on the mosque just by a whisker, so he will take that one. That means his future mosque actions are cheaper, or he will get 1 extra space on the mosque in his case. These, he takes 1 at random and gets 3 points for them, for it. So 1 at random, he takes the orange one because he has no use for it because he doesn't get goods. He just gets 1, 2, 3 victory points. So I'm going to use my camel to boost myself into second place. The courtier is going to boost himself into first place, leaving 2 camels there, and the magistrate comes into third place and takes those 2 camels. So lots of camels going on there. And I get, once I'm in second place, so I get to pick where the courtier's going. I think I want to go here, which will get me 2 blue and a tan cube. That means I can't get another rare good though, so that's not entirely useful. I could go here and pick up 3 of these though, which I think I'm not keen on watering down my strategy, but it does get me an awful lot of camels and a bonus cube if I pick up these 2 cinnamon ones. So I'll do that in a minute. But where am I going to send this? Where am I going to send the courtier? I'm going to send him into that column. If I'm going to go there, I'll have a lot of camels, so I can get myself into first or second place, no worries. So I don't really mind where these others go in terms of turn order. So the magistrate decides to put that there because it blocks off my row with the most, my perpendicular row with the most buildings. Now my go, I'm going to go here, and at the risk of slightly watering down this tactic so far, this good strategy that I've been going for, I'm going for the caravanserai. So that gives me 3 blue cubes and 1 tan. Oh, that's a white one, not a tan. The white cubes are wild, so that would be cheating. And now I can spend 3 cubes. I can spend identical coloured cubes to take cards from this row. And there's a method. You may either take a card with a camel on it, or you can take the next one after the camel. If nothing here has camels, or if you want, say, this card, I would have to put camels there and there in order to be able to take that one. Luckily, I'm looking at these 2. Now I'm spending 3 blue cubes, so I can take 3 of these. I'm going to take those 2 cinnamons, and when I get a pair of those, you can't see that. When I get a pair of those, I get a white cube. Is it focused? It's focused. I get a white cube when I get a pair of those. And I got 2 camels. So even though I'm going outside of my strategy there, I've actually done quite well out of that move. And I get to take another one as well. So I can either take this ginger, because that's the next one after a camel, or I can take one of these, or I think I can probably use the camel I just picked up in order to pick up, say, this next cinnamon. But it's better to get a pair. Looking what's coming up. There's no more peppers in here, although I am going to move them down and deal out 3 more. So I think I'm going to take this juniper and maybe try and get that juniper later on. Or not, because it's points for sets. If I get the pepper later on, then that's going to be 6 points instead of 4 points. Anyway, these all now move down, the camels stay on them. And I deal out 3 new ones and no camels appear. I did quite well out of that lot. Okay. Now it's the magistrate's turn, and this is either going to be mosque or palace. And it is the palace card. So where's he going to build? If he can indeed at all. There's a palace space there. Palace space there. I think that's the last empty palace space. So he will build there. And he will get 1, 2, 3, 4 points to spend there because he counts the courtier's cards as well. And when he has 4, he gets to place 2 workers into the palace. So he doesn't have to spend goods to do so, and he puts them wherever is most profitable. Now certainly scrolls is good for him. He has 4 scrolls, so he's probably going to place those both into the scrolls one there. He has 4 scrolls and 3 goods, so it's better for him to do that. Which is good for me because I'd quite like to, pack out this space with some more workers, so I get a better multiplayer, not better multiplier. Okay, so this turn I'm thinking I'm going into this row again to use the courtier's palace action, and with a bunch of beige cubes, tan cubes and a white, I should be able to fill up this space, I think. So do I need to be in first place to do that? We know the last space is a mosque action, so he's going to be going there. The last card is going to be a mosque card, so he's going to go there. So I can let him take first place, not waste camels getting into first place. And then I can go there, and the courtier will go wherever the magistrate puts him. So we're going to spend 1 camel to go into second place. The magistrate goes into first place, spending a camel onto there, and then the courtier comes along, takes those 2 camels and goes into third place. Okay, so big surprise, it's the Mosque Card, and he is going to build in the last available mosque space, which is there, but nicely for us, it only gets him 3 points. So he moves up 3 points, 3 spaces on the mosque track, 1, 2, 3, which means he picks up one of these, which is worth 3 victory points for him because it's useless for goods. He picks up one of these, which is worth 3 victory points, and he gets 1 favor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's no point in him actually taking those, I don't think. I'm not sure if he's supposed to remove one of those at random, but I don't think I'm going to get one, so it doesn't matter. So as second place, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, using the courtier's buildings, getting me 2 tan, 1 orange cube. And then I'm going to visit the palace. And I'm going to spend 2 plus 3 tan cubes, or in this case 4 tan cubes and 1 white cube, to fill up these slots here, meaning I score maximum for all my goods. Now in order to actually score those 3, I'm going to need 1 more favor. And I'm just wondering how I'm going to get that. I don't think I am. I could spend a camel into the camel market. I can have a free mosque action, which is going to get me a camel back, taking one of those spaces. I can take a brown good, a rare good, which is good because I can take another one of these. I can take a white cube, or I can place a soldier, and a soldier could defend some of my property. It could also, 1, 2, only get me 2 on there. Once this track is maxed out, you can start going up on the favour track instead. But I think I'm going to have to forget this favour, unfortunately. I'm going to spend a camel here to get a brown good. Okay, and now I can fulfill one of these contracts. And I can take one of these 10-point contracts, and I can take this one. I'm just going to put it there just over my shoulder. One blue, one brown, one blue, good. I'm going to spend my last cube to pay for that. And that gets me 10 victory points. And that favour I'm going to need. So I'm glad I spotted that. Okay. Lastly, it's the courtier's go. The magistrate decides where he's going to go, and that will be into the row where I have the most buildings, which I think is going to be there. Just gonna... And then he can't build, so I've got no decisions to make. Okay, so going into the last turn, I'm going to spend my last camel to put me into second place. The magistrate's going to spend a camel to put himself into first place. And once again, the courtier takes 2 camels to go into third place. At this point, the Mongols attack before we score. And they're going to do a lot of destruction here. They don't destroy the corrupt magistrate's buildings. Presumably he's bribing them and opening the gates to let them in. But they will destroy any of my buildings or the courtier's buildings that aren't protected. So this one is protected by a soldier. Now I can pay cubes to protect of the appropriate colour. I can pay cubes of the appropriate colour to protect my buildings, but I have no cubes remaining. So this one is destroyed because it's not protected by a wall in either direction. This one is destroyed because likewise not protected by a wall or soldier. This one's fine. This one's protected by a wall from this direction. It is not protected by a wall from that direction, so that is destroyed. Likewise, these 2 are destroyed. This one, this one, this one, and those 2. All destroyed. All my property is destroyed, and only one of the courtier's buildings are left standing for the final round. So on to scoring. Buildings, I get none, and the magistrate gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Taking up to 35. There are no mosque bonuses to account for. So we are on to the palace scoring. So I pay 1, 2, 3 favour, so I can score all 3 of my workers here, and I have got 7 goods, so 3 times 7, 21. Takes me up to 50. Likewise, the magistrate has 3 workers here, but he only has 4 scrolls, which are just going off the edge of the screen. There are 4 scrolls, so he gets 12 points, taking him up to 47. Okay, so all our buildings have been destroyed going into the 3rd round, but we are currently ahead on points, so that's a bonus. Magistrate's first to go. He shuffles his 4 cards, puts them back on top of his deck, and he only has 1 building left to build with. And his first card is Market. So there's going to be plenty of open market spaces. It's where is he going to build them? There's a market here. This one's built, and this one. So these 2 being equal in terms of existing buildings, he's going to go furthest from the queue. So he goes to there, and he will build in Nishapur. So he takes the cube into Nishapur, takes the camel. He then gets 2 common goods and 1 rare, which means he can fulfill another contract. He's going to take this 10-point contract because it's the next most valuable. Because he's got a few scrolls, he could do one of these others. But 10 points is more valuable, and he gets to place a soldier as well, so he gets 10 points for that. 57, he places a soldier, and he would, oh, that is removed. So he goes straight back into there to protect that place again. So my go, I would now very much like to pick up market goods. Unfortunately, there's only 1 market space left and I don't have a building on it, so I am going to have to take it. It will give me 1 purple cube. I do not see, unless you go with a heavy walls strategy, how it's possible to protect many of your houses in the Mongol sacking of Merv. So my purple cube, I'm going to spend it immediately on 1 common good. And I'm going to take this camel from the camel market. You can either put a camel in there and take the bonus, or if there is a camel there already, you can take it. So it's always good to have camels. The courtier, the magistrate, decides where he's going to go. It will be where I have the most buildings, where he can't go anyway, where the magistrate has fewest, so it's there. I get to pick where he's going to build, and I think I'm going to put him back in that middle row again. Right, magistrate spends 2 camels to bump himself into 1st position, and I'm going to spend 1 camel to put myself into 2nd position and gain a camel in the process. And then the magistrate's going to come along, take 2 camels, and 3rd position. So I get to pick where this where the courtier's going this time. So we know he's got palace and scrolls and mosque remaining. So I would quite like to try and block him getting too many scrolls. If he gets scrolls, he's going to go there and get 2. If I put the courtier there and he gets scrolls, he's going to go pick the activate this and get 3. So I don't want to put the courtier there, although that could block the mosque space as well. That's the last unbuilt mosque space. So if he goes there and gets mosque, if he gets mosque and goes there, builds there, he's going to get 2 space on the mosque. So it's best for us if he plays into that row. The magistrate, that is. So I don't want to put the courtier there for sure. Just trying to think, what do I need to achieve in these last few rounds of games? In the last few turns, I need 3 favour in the court. Now, the ways to do that is to play there, and there will get me 2, but that's going to cost me 4, and then 9. 4 and then 5 makes 9 goods, so that's not going to happen.
If I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 by building walls, now that is actually a possibility. So I've got 3 turns left. I need to build, what did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 or 10, I can't remember, points worth of influence from walls. And I could get that from 4, 8, 12 from 3 walls. Could easily get me enough influence to get me favour down here and a bunch of victory points. Every good I get is worth 3 victory points. I think net is worth an extra 3 victory points. I think net at the moment, trying to get those walls built will be in my favour. If I send him there, where is the Magistrate going to tell him to build? Let's have a look. So if I send him there, the Magistrate chooses which column he builds in, and the rules for that are, where I have the most buildings, well, he can't build there. In a perpendicular column where I have the most buildings, he can't build on the market. So where the Magistrate has the fewest buildings, which is there or there. And then the tie break is closest to the action slot. So if I send him there, the courtier there, then he's going to build in that wall space there, which if I can get into this row coming this way, means I can get 2 walls. And I can get 1 wall if I go down here and then another one there. Am I going to get caught out in last place though? Because if I go here, we said that's where the Magistrate's going to go. So I want to go here and build this wall space here. Give me 1 purple cube, which I'm going to spend on a wall, which I'm going to put here, which gets me 2, 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, which gets me 3 victory points as well. 1, 2, 3, 2 for that, 1 for that. So then in comes the Magistrate with the palace action, which is the one action I didn't really think about in terms of where he was going to go. And there are no spaces he can build to activate that, because the only palace space is here. The only empty palace space is here. So he can't build there because the courtier's there. So I think he's going to go, all right, hang on, 3. He's going to come down to here and activate this row because there's a palace space there, which means he gets to put 1 worker into the palace. Now he's already filled up the scrolls. He now has 6 goods, but I've filled up the goods, so he can't go there. He has no spice, caravansary spice cards, so he's going to pick the mosque space. So he goes up 1 on there, which gets him 2 victory points, because he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces on the mosque track. Okay, so I have a camel. If I'm going to boost myself into 2nd place, and then the courtier is going to boost himself into 1st place, and then the Magistrate's going to come along, collect 2 more camels to go with his herd, and take last place. So now where do I want to put this? If I get him to build, if I put him in this row, the Magistrate's going to make him build there, and then if I can come around and build in this row, I can build 3 more walls. tactics, which is more than enough influence, favour then for my scoring. And in the meantime, where am I going to go? I could come into this column, go to the caravansary, pick up a camel, guaranteeing me position to come around into this last leg. Okay, so I'm going to put the courtier there, and the magistrate is going to make him build there because it's the perpendicular row where I have the most. Well, that can't be built. And then where the magistrate has the fewest, so that's going to be this row. Then I'm coming along and I'm going there. And I'm actually going to build there, giving me an orange and a purple cube. And I'm going to spend, I can only spend one of those in the caravansary. If they were the same, I could get two. And I'm going to spend, looking at the walls here, 2 orange cubes left, 2 orange ones left, 1 purple one. I'm going to spend my purple cube because when I come around here, I can get another purple and an orange. Yes, I'm going to spend my purple cube to pick this card up, which gets me a camel and moves all those down. I can't get any more because I need cubes of the same type. And a magistrate, he must be going for mosque this round, and he is. Whereas he has no buildings, so all that talk of spaces was a moot point. So he can activate 3 there, 4 there. So he can't take that space. Well, that was good. So he's going there for 3 points on the mosque track. So he gets that, and he ticks one of these that gets him the most. I'll work that out in a minute. He goes there, which means he can place a soldier, which I think means he protects that one, being the next for down, and gets 2 more of those. And then his 3rd point, he goes to there. He gets 1 victory point and a free palace action, which means he is going to put a worker into the mosque track. And he needs to work out which one of these. So it's either the market, so he's got 1, 2, 3 in the market. I think it's going to be that one then. Scrolls, 1, 2. He's only got 2 scrolls buildings. Caravansary, he has none, and walls, he has none. So it's this one he's taking, and that's going to get him a bonus at the end of the round. Right. On to the last leg then. The courtier puts himself into 1st place, spending his last 2 camels. I'm going to go into second place, spending my camel and gaining a camel. And then the magistrate's coming in 3rd place, taking 2 more camels. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't score any points for camels whatsoever. Where am I going to put the courtier? Now, I was thinking about going here, and I could activate and get a blue, a tan, and an orange cube for wall building. Blue I can't use because I'd need 2. But I would have a tan and 2 orange, so I could build 3 walls. if I go here, I can activate my buildings and get an orange and a purple and build 3 walls. So I don't really mind. His last card must be scrolls. So I just want to make sure I don't increase his scrolls score. He's going to get 3 there. So I'm going to put him there. And then the magistrate's going to instruct him to build there. I'm going to go into that row and activate my walls building, which gets me a purple and orange cube. And then I'm going to spend my 2 oranges and my purple to build 3 walls. And I'm going to build there for 4 rather. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that gets me 3, 7, 8 victory points. Then I'm going to build there, which gets me 4 more, which gets me 5 more victory points. And then I'm going to build there, which gets me 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Which gets me 4 more victory points. So I now have plenty of favour and a good boost of victory points, so that was good. And now the magistrate's turn. We know he's going for scrolls, and his best position for scrolls, he's going to activate the place where he has the most buildings, which is there. So he gets 3 scrolls. 1, 2, 3, giving him 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. So he gets one of these tiles, which means he gets a free action. I'm not sure which one he takes. Okay, he takes the marketplace action if available, and it is. So he's going to get a free marketplace go. Unfortunately for us, that's there. So he gets a favour. And he gets 2 common and 2 rare goods. So he can now activate a couple of these contracts. I'm just working out which is best for him. If he uses if he can do those 2 for 16, or he can do one of those for 8. And that for 13. So it's better for him if he does those 2. So with 2 scrolls, 2 common and 2 rare goods, he takes those 2. I'm going to move those up because he won't need those anymore. So that's 16 victory points. And 1 favour, so 3 more. And he places a soldier, which he must place there, which gets him 2 more of those. And now we move into our places for the final score taking. So he will go into first place. The Magistrate has no the Courtier has no camels, so goes into third place. Takes that camel, and then we go into second place and take that camel. Then the Mongol hordes come. This building is protected by a soldier, but this one is not. This one is not. This one is not. Neither are those two. So I get 0 points for buildings, and the Magistrate gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Putting him up to 88. He then scores 3 points per marketplace. 1, 2, 3. So he gets 9 points for that. And I get nothing for those. Then down here to the palace. To zoom in onto the palace. I'm going to spend 1, 2, 3 influence to get 3 victory points per goods. And I've got 8. So that's 24 victory points for me, taking me up to 94. The Magistrate gets 2 victory points for each of his mosque track positions, and 3 victory points for each scroll. So let's have a look at the mosque. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 2 is 12 points for that. So 107, 109, and 3 points per scroll. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 scrolls, we said, so 21 points for that. Take him up to 130. The only thing left is my spice cards. Which you sort into sets, or I've got 3 different ones in one set and 1 on its own in another set, so that is 18, 19. So 104, 113, 19, no it's not 19, what am I talking about, where was I, 94, it's 7. 6 plus 1, 7. Take me up to 101. And that's the final score. Just glancing around, I don't think I've missed anything. Now, 101 is my best score, and would have beaten the Magistrate on some of my other solo games, but unfortunately the Magistrate on this turn is right around here on 130. Which makes this my 13th solo loss in a row. Now I think I did quite well there. And it's hard to say with the board set up as it was how I could have done better. I never gave the Magistrate priority in the turn order, or not when it mattered. I took a good couple of contracts. I had some good points down here in the palace, but of course the Magistrate had better, and he had better contracts as well, but then he always gets loads of contracts. Anyway, I think I did quite well, and I'm quite pleased with my score of 101, but I am unable to win this game against the Magistrate. So if you've got any tips, strategy tips, that you saw me, if you saw me miss anything, opportunities in this game, then, or if looking at the board, looking at this setup, how you would have approached that differently, then go for it. Let me know, please. I'm desperate to know what I can do better in this game, because it's just not working out for me yet. So that was Merv, the Heart of the Silk Road. As you can see, the AI opponent is aggressive and powerful and hard to beat. A careful balance between blocking or limiting that power and concentrating on your own fortunes is a difficult but essential strategy, one I'm not sure I've mastered yet. With attractive components and beautiful yet functional artwork by Ian O'Toole, this game is a treat to behold on the table. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough.
Please remember to hit like and subscribe to the channel for more solo content soon. And if you really liked it, please consider donating via ko-fi.com/OMAHM. There's a link below. And thanks for watching. Goodbye.